Wow, happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. And welcome to another episode of Lifetime Success with yours truly, Jennifer Yan with Jennifer Yan Agency and IBA Success Magazine. So I rarely go live on Fridays, but this is a very special live for me. Over the last, I'm going to say, couple of months, you have seen my lives more regularly than typical because with IBA Success Magazine and so much content that we have out there, we've really decided to take our magazine on a live journey from interviewing our past covers till today's special live, which is interviewing one of our content contributors. So IBA Success Magazine, when I created it, I want to say about 7 years ago, my focus was always to really empower, educate, and promote nationally. And I've been able to do that with amazing, just amazing relationships. So joined with me today is Miss Laura Dorsey. How are you, Miss Dorsey?
I am great, Jennifer. How are you?
I am doing amazing. It's Friday. I don't even know where the week went, to be honest with you.
The week, the month, the year, it's all been a blur.
I know it's just been a great big blur, but I can say it's been good for me, and with me doing the lives and just connecting with my advertisers, connecting with my content contributors, past covers, it's really been an amazing journey. I want to just say thankful. I'm very thankful to everyone that supports IBA Success Magazine and is tuning in right now. I know everyone has been waiting for your interview today because I've been getting all kind of messages. We're running a few minutes behind, but I've been getting all kind of messages. I'm like, okay, where is you and Laura?
Well, I'm glad. I'm excited about that.
Yes. So we have some guests that are popping in. Hello, everyone that is joining us. You are watching Lifetime Success with IBA Success Magazine. IBA Success Magazine is going live. We are live, and we're all about reaching and connecting to everyone that has the time to tune in. Whether you're watching right now live with us, hashtag live, or whether you catch us in a replay, please hashtag replay and let us know that you are out there. So today's live, we are talking about content. We're talking about creating great content. We're talking about articles, and this is a special, this all holds a special place in your heart, Laura, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So IBA Success Magazine, I'm actually going to hold up this current cover. It is the global edition with Molina on the cover. We did a cover contest to even get this cover, and it was exciting. I've never done it before. Before we go any further, I want to just read the first paragraph of the welcome page. So I invite you all, when we go live, when you see IBA Success Magazine is going live, I want you to find this time to go and subscribe to our publication. I want you to read along and follow along with us because today is going to be like a little bit of a story time. So I know, right? We're going to have some fun with this one. So just every edition, if you are not a subscriber of IBA Success Magazine, you'll notice that I start out with a welcome. This welcome to me is kind of just how I'm feeling, how I'm reflected. So just to begin reading, it says, the process for developing each IBA Success Magazines begins with reflections of past editions, coupled with what may be going on in my life or the life of others around me. For this issue, the pandemic, social injustice, and strained political climate collided and were all strong considerations to lead to this theme. I, however, thought it would be prudent to focus on how all of these outside forces affect business locally and globally, triggering individuals to look beyond their comfort zone. So With that said, I am welcoming you all to the global edition of IBA Success Magazine, and I am welcoming Miss Laura Dorsey to speak with me today about this because you contributed lots of content for this edition.
Yes, I did. And thank you so much for allowing me to do that.
Yes, it is. I always get great feedback when you speak with our covers. So let's jump into this particular cover first. Tell us a little bit about your experience with putting together the cover story, Global Voice.
Well, this was really a unique cover story. There are a lot of times when there's a cover story and I don't have any relationship to the topic or the subjects, and so I go in being cold. But one of the things that by the time we got back and forth, having worked at the university and having international students, I was used to the fact that the international students needed their transcripts translated, their transcripts translated into English so we would know exactly how many credits and stuff that they were choosing. So I was familiar with this product,
Okay.
more so than I've ever been, so it's like at least I had a point of reference for writing this one this time.
Okay. So, with interviewing Molina, when a person hires you for writing, what does that look like? Because I've been working with you for a while. You've written a couple of our cover stories as well as some great articles that just support the whole theme of the magazine. A lot of individuals may not know that you are for hire. You are a writer, you are a master storyteller. I always feel your articles. So tell us a little bit on what that looks like if a person is going to hire you for a writing project before we start talking about some of the articles you've written in this edition.
Well, one of the things that I am blessed with now, I am at this particular point in my life where I work on passion projects.
Mhm.
I work on projects that speak to me, that I have some type of vision for. And so with that, it always starts out with an interview. I am here. I'm based in the DMV area, so I'm not necessarily in Orlando. So I have clients all over, but it really starts out with an interview. And it starts out with that interview, whether it's on the phone or whether it's like Zoom now or however way we're doing it. I just have to be able to know that I can connect with that person that I'm writing for. And there are actually times where sometimes I say no. If the topic is something that I'm not familiar with and I'm not comfortable with, or whatever, I reserve the right to say no,
Mhm.
to a particular project. But if it's something, and it has to be for a purpose, why, some people just want to write. Well, no, that doesn't work for me. Again, I think that we should write exactly like we do for IBE Success, to inform, to educate, to entertain. Where does it fit in on the spectrum? Why are we doing this? Why am I writing this? What story, and what story is it that you're trying to tell? Most of my clients have lived a full life. I'm not going to tell your whole life story. I don't want to do that. But if I can tell a chapter in your life and I can tell it well and I can do it for a particular purpose, then that's where we're going. So it really starts out with an interview and making sure that I can actually connect with the person that I'm working with.
Yes. So you've written several articles for IBA Success Magazine. If a person is interested in having you write for them, like what are some of the writing projects that you have done outside of magazine articles, and how can a person reach you?
Okay. Well, one of the several things that I've done, one of the things that I've been doing lately, which wasn't necessarily up on my forte, is that I've been ghostwriting. And it wasn't anything that I sort of ever thought that I was going to be able to do. I was ghostwriting and have been doing that. This is the time of the pandemic. Everybody thinks that they want to write a book. Okay. And I don't necessarily want to ghostwrite a whole book, but one of the big things that are going on now is anthologies. And that's when a group of authors get together and they only are writing a particular chapter. Okay. And so I've worked on several different book projects lately where I've been doing ghostwriting where I'm writing chapters, for a particular book. And so that's one of the things that I've been doing. The other thing is that with this unemployment arena being exactly where it is, a lot of people are looking at changing careers, are looking at, or changing jobs, or, doing whatever. So I've been doing a lot writing bios that they can put out on LinkedIn. I've been looking at a lot of resumes. I have been looking at a lot of people's on their website, the About Me page, and I've been doing a lot of that. So that's really what the things I've been working on lately, besides the work that I do with the magazine.
Okay. So if a person is interested in working with you, what would they need to do and know before they reach out to you?
Well, one of the things is that um, as much as I'm a face-to-face person, so usually most people will just either give me a call. You can go out on my website, and that's lauradorsey.net, and you can go out on my webpage, take a look at it, and it says how to contact me. I'm going to give you my email address and my personal and you could my telephone number too, so that you can give me a call. And usually it starts with that. I always start with a call. Give me a call. Tell me exactly about what it is that you're working for. And then once we do agree that we're going to do the project, then we set up the time for the interview. Okay. So you can reach me at on lauradorsey.net, which is my website, or you can give me a call. My telephone number, my phone number here is area code 240-714-6966.
Okay. So we are going to make sure that right now you see Laura's website running across the bottom of the screen. Shortly, we will also post her phone number. I have been working with Laura for, it feels like forever, because we kind of go back. You were my professor at the University of Phoenix, and that's where we first connected. And it's just funny how things circle back around, and now we have the opportunity to work together.
Yes, yes. Actually, we were actually talking about you yesterday. The other day, the University of Phoenix had an alumni network, and we were talking about how staying connected. I was staying connected with a lot of my students that I've had at the University of Phoenix, and how full circle where you started out as a student and said, when you were a student, this is what I'm going to do. And then lo and behold, a few years later, we connected again, at a Les Brown event. You were like, I did exactly what I said I'm going to do. Come play with me now, So.
Yes, so I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, because I want you to tell, the audience, and tell me what it's like working with IBA Success Magazine.
One of the things that I love about IBA Success Magazine is that as a master storyteller, more so than with anything else that I write with IBA Success, I get to tell stories. Most of the people that I work with at IBA Success, I work with people. I work with the cover stories. I work with some of your lead stories. I work with your young success. I interview people. And for everybody, I get to tell a story. So there's magazines that I work for where I'm given a topic. I've been 20 years in finance, and so I write about money, whatever. And it's good. I can do that. Sometimes I write op-ed pieces, for other magazines where I could just write about things. But when I get to write about people, to me, that is, as a master storyteller, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to write about the people. I'm supposed to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what I really do for you, what I really enjoy doing for you. It's always about the story. It's always about the interview. Every now and then you'll have me write a piece about something that I think or that I feel, but most of the time it's entwined with the story.
I am a believer that your story is your success. And with kicking off, our next edition that's dropping in October is our development edition. So we have an amazing couple on the cover. I can't even wait to start, getting into that. But I'm a firm believer that your story is your success. So with that being said, I hope you all are reading with me today because this is fun. Let's talk about some of the stories that Master Storyteller Laura, which is also on the front and side cover of this current edition. You can find more information about her experience, her business, and also in this edition, if you mention IBA Success Magazine, there is a one-time content review of your marketing collateral, which is a value of $199. So you can't even beat that. There's no reason to not even call Laura and say, hey, help me out, make sure my content is on point. So again, she is on the inside front cover of this current edition, Master Storyteller. So let's talk about some of the stories that you've written in this particular edition. I know we talked a little bit about Molina, but I want to go back to her because she had such an amazing experience. And I remember she was like, oh my gosh, it was so cool that Laura called and we talked. So what was that conversation like in getting her story out? Because I felt it on the first paragraph. It hooked me in. And to me, that's a great story.
It was so amazing. It was really just like a story talking between two friends. When she called, she was like, okay, hold on a second, I'm taking care of the baby, and then we're doing this or whatever. I mean, it was really just a conversation. But what she did is that she shared her story of how she grew the business. She shared the story of, all of us sometimes I think that we're starting out down a path that we're supposed to be going on, and then life happens or whatever, and you end up doing something else. Well, when she started out, this is not what she was doing. She didn't start out doing this business. She started out doing something else, and I could relate to that. Before I became a professor, a storyteller, I was in finance. I was a securities trader at a bank. Anything near what it is that I'm doing now. But life takes its twist and turn, and I'm here now finding my passion. And that's what I was able to relate to her. Before, the businesses she was in several different things, just trying to find success. And what she did and what she realized later on is that her passion became her success. So all the things that she was doing to be able to make money, to think that she was being successful, none of that worked. None of that worked. And when she finally found, the translation and interpreting, and it's like, and then was able to make it a business and then grow it and see the demand for it. And then she worked on this. She did the networking. She talked to people, communicated with people. She hustled to be able to get it done.
Yeah.
But she enjoyed every aspect of it, and she loves what she does. That's why I said, when I say I do passion projects, I like working with people who love what it is that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So many languages, one voice at a time. It's on page 18. You have to check out this story written by Laura Dorsey, our master storyteller. If you're watching, this is Lifetime Success. We are taking IBA Success Magazine live. We're talking to our content contributors. Miss Laura is on with us. She has written several pieces in this edition. We just talked about our cover story. There was another piece that was very dear to me because, COVID hits close to home. And, a lot of us think, okay, it's just hearsay or what's happening. But until it really hits close to home and someone that is affected, you start looking at things differently. For me, I immediately start, investing more into my health and looking at what I'm putting in my body so I could be strong. But after understanding that a close friend in the network, Robin Binge she got COVID, and we all was kind of on pins and needles, and we all was kind of, hoping that she pulls through with this, and we was praying for her. I felt it was so necessary to have her story, especially what we're going through right now. So you interviewed Robin and you talked to her about her experience with COVID. Tell me a little bit about how that was for you, and how did that, how did that push your writing creativity in telling that story?
Well, the thing about Robin is like you said, we all, you hear it on the news consistently, and you know that we're going through this and everything. But talking with Robin, first of all, it took a couple of calls for us to get this together, because what people don't really realize is that even after you quote unquote survive COVID, there are so many after effects. And she was dealing with some of the after effects. She was so exhausted and so tired. I mean, we would schedule an interview and she was like, Laura, I just don't have the energy, and I was like, no problem, no problem. We can do this. We can do this later. We can do it. So it took us a while to be able to get it done, just because she is not even at 100% yet. Even though she's out of the hospital and she's done, and she's got the negative test and the antibodies and everything that it was. And again, I always say, why am I writing this story? And so she says, I want the story to be written so that people know that this is real, okay, and so that we can educate people. So her biggest thing is that people were looking at her like she got COVID, like it was leprosy or like it was the plague. And she was like, no, that's not it. Like, oh, you've been infected. She's like, no, that's not it. She goes, I'm the safest person because I already got it. And
Yeah.
I've already survived it. I've got the antibodies. I'm the safest person you possibly ever want to be around. And so
Mhm.
she's like, that's one of the things that we really got into that story, that she wanted people to know, A, the side effects are lingering, are long lasting. And B, you have to be compassionate with people who are going through this.
Yes. This story is on page 24. If you are not a subscriber of IBA Success Magazine, all I have to say is, what are you waiting for? It doesn't cost anything. All you need to do is go to IBASuccessMagazine.com and drop your email address in. When you do that, you will get all of the editions as they are released. Okay. So against all odds, look, the first sentence says words matter. It says words are our most powerful way of communicating. I believe that. When I read the first two sentences, Laura, I was like, okay, give me more. And I'm always like that with your stories. So, against all odds, this story was written with Robin Bench in mind, everything that she's been through. We pray for you, we support you, and we are so thankful that you took the time through everything that you're going through to tell us your story, Robin. So if you're watching, thank you very much. Another story that I felt was very nice to tie in. And again, it's so much going on with race and the whole Black Lives Matter, which of course hits us dear because we are Black, and you being in education and me working alongside Infinite Scholars, you felt it was necessary to create an article that meant something to you. And I know this was one of your passion articles. So tell us, one, about Infinite Scholars and why you choose to write the article, which is on page 26, by the way. Does Black education matter?
Well, the thing is that when we were listening to Black Lives Matter, and yeah, and figuring out, everybody has to figure out what it is that you can do. Um, I fit that vulnerable age population. Like, I'm over 60, I am a diabetic or whatever, so I'm not gonna be out in the street, marching and protesting with anybody. So how can I do my part?
Yeah.
And I figure, as an educator, that's what I do. I'm an educator, I'm a writer. I'm going to do my part to make sure that people understand. But just like Black Lives Matter, okay, what are some of the things that affect systemic racism? And so we know police reform is one of the biggest things, but I'm a firm believer that education is the other one. Education is what's going to take us into that career field so that we're economically sound. Education is what's going to take us so that we know our rights when we're talking about something else. When we're talking about whether it's police brutality or politics or whatever, education is necessary so that in this year, when it's time to vote, that we'll know who to vote for. So
Mhm.
just like Black Lives Matter, Black education matters, and making sure that we educate our children, matters too, because that's how we move to the next level. And so I've been working with Infinite Scholars since 2008. Infinite Scholars is a nonprofit organization. It's a 501c3. We do one thing and one thing only, is if you ever go to the website or whatever, is that we host a scholarship fair. And I had you at our scholarship fair last year. Usually these scholarship fairs are on site. And so what we do is that we are in 27 cities around the country. I probably do like 7 or 8 of them. We bring 30 or 40 colleges into a venue. In Orlando, we're usually at Evans High School. And we were in Sanford at the Civic Center when you were at the Civic Center there. And we're in Rockledge, we're in Fort Lauderdale, we're in Jacksonville. We bring 40 colleges there. The majority of these colleges have scholarships to give away. Okay. And because that's what students are looking for, they're looking for scholarships. And what has happened is that when Infinite Scholars was created, our CEO, who was a high school teacher in Ferguson, Missouri, people were coming to him and said, we've got these scholarships to give away and we can't find any minority students to give them to. And he's like, what are you talking about? I got a classroom full of minority students, here right now. And so he invited the colleges to come into his classroom to talk to his students. Well, that mushroomed into his classroom and to the whole school. And to now he is doing 27 of these across the country. And so we bring these colleges. We have about 400 colleges in our network. At any scholarship fair, we're having 40 to 50 of them at a time. And and the thing that's unique is that ours is not just a college fair where you're getting information. It's a scholarship fair. And so the students can come up, they register in advance, they bring their transcripts, their ACT or SAT scores, whatever the college is looking for. And this is your opportunity to talk to the college. Master Storyteller is your opportunity to talk to the college and tell the college your story. Tell the college why your GPA is a 3.5 instead of a 4.0, because in the 9th grade, you weren't really taking it seriously and that cumulative GPA dropped it, but I'm really a 4.0 student. Let the college know that what are the extracurricular activities that you're in. Let the college know I can't do a whole lot of extracurriculars because I have a second job because I'm trying to take care, the family. Let them know who you are. And when they know who you are and you meet the criteria, whatever, they will tell you right there on the spot that you're eligible for a scholarship. So you can walk out of there with 6, 7, 8, 10 scholarships, all at one time. And that allows you to be able to go home and sit around the kitchen table and say, what's best for us? Back in the day, they did college tours where, you would get a bunch of kids and they would take them all over the country. Well, nobody can afford that right now. So if you can't afford to go to the colleges, we're going to bring the colleges to you. And that's what Infinite Scholars does. And so I thought it was important to talk about education matters.
I have worked with you with Infinite Scholars for a little bit, and we've done articles, and I've done advertising and PR to help promote these fairs, but it didn't sink into me until I was actually at the fair, and I watched youth walk away with hundreds and thousands of dollars of scholarships from multiple colleges. Got to speak with a lot of the parents, got to see the joy on the students' faces knowing that their success is about to take off to a whole nother level. So Infinite Scholars, I fully support that. I didn't know about Infinite Scholars when I was in school, and I don't feel a lot of parents as well as children know about it in high school. When should they be looking at transcripts, and where can they go to find out more about Infinite Scholars?
Well, you can go to Infinite Scholars website. It's infinitescholars.org. It has all kinds of information there. You can register, online. Let me know. I'll make sure that we have a monthly newsletter that goes out. Obviously, with COVID right now, we're not having our scholarship fairs like we had, because usually we would have anywhere from 400 to 1,000 students, and we can't do that now. So we're looking at a process of trying to do things virtually online. But I think, and it's just on me, okay, sometimes students will wait until they're in the 12th grade to see about college. Okay.
Okay.
That's not when you wait. You know, you start in the 9th grade, you start in the 8th grade. One of the, when I got involved with this, I tell people the story all the time about my daughter. So my daughter decided in the 8th grade that they had a career fair at school. We were living in Detroit at the time, had a career fair at school in the 8th grade. The lady came in the 8th grade with a military uniform, and she had all the medals on the military, you know, on her uniform or whatever. And my daughter's like, that's what I want to do. And I'm like, what about your mother, who's an executive at the bank? We don't want to follow in your mother's footsteps or whatever. And she's like, no, that's what she wanted to do. So everything we did from the time she was in the 8th grade till before she was graduated was to get her involved in that. She got involved with ROTC because she knew what the path was. And we agreed that, yes, going into the military was the one thing, but you needed to make sure that she went to school while she was there, because the military will pay for your education. So people talk about, oh my God, student loan, that is so, like, my daughter got a master's degree and it didn't cost us nothing. I love Uncle Sam.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. So listen, so if you are watching, this is Lifetime Success. We are speaking with our content contributors. Miss Laura has just been filling us in on so much that she has written in this book, her beliefs, her passions. This has just been a great conversation. We're talking about what COVID has done for us, and right now your Facebook and your information is also going across the screen. But to talk about how COVID has hit home and to talk about the story with Robin Bench, you also had the opportunity to talk with two entrepreneurs, two businesses. One being real estate and another being the restaurant industry. And they talk to you about their experience with COVID, because those stories and those articles are kind of the ups and the downs. How was that in speaking with two different industries? Could you tell us a little bit about those two articles, which the real estate done differently is on page 28. And we have bringing the OCB restaurants during COVID, which is on page 32. So let's start off with page 28, real estate done differently. And I hope you all are reading and subscribing along with us during this story time today.
Well, it was amazing because Mia is a personal friend, and so I thought that when I was going to do the interview, so I asked her to do the interview. She's a realtor. She's here, in the area. And I said, I'm thinking that I'm going to do this interview because COVID is like devastating everybody. It's devastating all kinds of businesses and whatever, So she's like, she agrees to do the article and just, And so I was like, okay, so tell me how COVID is bothering your business. She's like, we're doing just fine.
Okay.
She's like, because she said it wasn't hitting the real estate industry like it was hitting any place else. She said people always going to need a home. So, and she said, and with COVID, now people were more serious about homes. They were using more technology. You can video walk through the house and stuff now, So she's like, that's why it's called done differently, because it's not the old fashioned where the realtor would take you to the house. They can just virtually walk through the house now. Virtually do everything. So she was saying that for the real estate, their business was increasing in this area. Okay, that may not have been, everywhere. But the one thing I like about IBA Success is that the wide expanse of network that I have, I can write about people all over the country. So actually being able to write about somebody in the DMV here. But she thought that it was just amazing. She's like, we got no problem. We got more business than we know what to do with.
That's awesome, because your article starts off by saying the year 2020 had proven to be a roller coaster ride in many industries. So it's great to know that some industries was on the upside of that. Mia Anderson is an award-winning realtor for Berkshire Hathaway, HS Penn Fed Realty. You can read all about her story on page 28. I'm excited because I actually get to do this guest with Mia coming up soon to talk more in depth, because she's in the magazine. And not only are we talking about the content contributors, we're talking about the individuals, and we're talking to the individuals that these stories were about. So I'm excited. I see that Mia has over 17 years in experience. So I'm excited to see, what her advice is to other realtors and other people in the industry that may be on the downside of COVID.
Right.
And then you went and you talked to a restaurant. This is what I absolutely love about you, because I can say, you know what, this is where we're going. And you're not just a content contributor, you're an editor. You are a part of IBA Success family, because, your passion in writing is just amazing. And you can jump in different industries and tell different stories. So if you're watching, you make sure you follow Laura and you visit her on the web if you are interested in any writing project, because I tell you, she can write about it all as long as she's passionate about it, because she will tell you no.
Yeah,
This
I
was
will.
not gonna work for me.
Yeah, I absolutely will. I will say no.
Let's talk about that restaurant. What did you hear from that restaurant? What did you feel when you put that story together?
You know what was amazing with that restaurant too is that you look at the news and you listen to the news, and they're talking about the restaurants closing down, and and people losing their jobs and things of that nature. So first of all, I didn't know what a microbrewery was, so I had to make
Okay.
sure that I did my research before I even talked about what a microbrewery was. So because and that's what I do. A lot of times I'll do some background research before I even do the interview, so that I
Okay.
know what type of questions that I want to ask. So had to do my research to find out what a microbrewery was, and to find out that microbreweries were, again, they were doing fine. Okay, they weren't, it wasn't the real estate industry. So, but what I found here is that they decided, at OCB to decided to merge with another restaurant. It's like, okay, and that's the thing with COVID. They're getting people to do things differently now. We have to look at things from a different aspect. So now it is not just the brewery, it's the brewery and the taco business that were together or whatever. So now they created a whole new niche and a whole new franchise that he said that Jerry wasn't looking for when they first got started, And he was another one who was in business doing something else, his degree is in mechanics or something like that, before he got into the microbrewery business.
Yes, so this article is hashtag bringing the OCB restaurants during COVID-19. OCB stands for Orange County Brewery. And I just got to say, I love to go out and eat, and I love to go out and just enjoy the hospitality industry. They have some of the best tacos. 10 Tacos is there. So if you have never been to Orange County Brewery, we actually did our cover reveal in that location, which is out in Lake Mary. Jeremy is the owner there. Just an amazing guy. Awesome franchise, lots of great foods, great drinks. So if you are watching, definitely go out and visit them. Let them know that IBA Success Magazine sent you, but make sure you read their story. It is on page 32 of the current edition. Again, you can subscribe at IBASuccessMagazine.com. It is free. It is free to look and read online. But if you're like me and you like good quality and you like to flip through the pages, we have something for you too. You can reach out to us and you can have the magazine delivered directly to your business or directly to your home, and you can receive a copy every time that we release a magazine. To read more of IBA Success and, of course, more of the Storytellers articles, Miss Laura Dorsey, that is here with us today. I feel like we have went through the magazine, and it's so much fun to do this with you.
Thank you.
So any last words before we close out today, Miss Laura? Your website is at the bottom of the screen. Again, if you're looking for her to write for you or just want to have your content reviewed to make sure your business is out on the right foot as far as content, mention IBA Success Magazine when you reach out to her. And I am going to let you close out the master storyteller.
Well, the one of the things that I do want to say is that I want to thank you too, because making this a business before I was just writing because it was my passion. But one of your passions is to making sure that you have people turn their passion into a business. And you were the one who told me from the beginning, because before I would just like write for people, it's okay. And you were
Mhm.
like, no, you need
No.
to make sure that this is a business and that you're getting paid. And you did the research for me and said, and before I created a rate sheet, you're the one who told me, okay, listen, no, this is what we're doing. We're creating a rate sheet. So now I have like a whole rate sheet and the business and everything or whatever, just because I was doing what I wanted to do passionately, but now I've actually turned it into a business. So I want to thank you publicly. If I've never, I know I've done it privately. I want to thank you publicly, So the reason that we've got this whole thing going on, one of the first photo shoots that we did, that are on my website, and on my business cards or whatever, was the photo shoot that you did. The first advertisement for the business we had was in IBA Success, and now it's grown exponentially since then.
Yeah.
So everybody's got a story,
Everybody's have
and
a story. And while we're saying
every
that, we got to give our branding photographer, Kalisha Wilson, a shout out, because
yes,
we had so much fun through that photo shoot. Like, branding photo
yes.
shoots with my team Success is amazing because we capture the lifestyle, we capture the fun. So, Kalisha, way to go, hun. Thank you so much for being a part of my team and creating the story and the graphics, to give my magazine even more off. And I'm gonna say it like that because those photos was like,
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. But everybody has a story to tell, and
yeah,
and and I know a lot of times when the people were asking me about it, I was like, no, I don't have anything to, I don't have a story to tell. But you do, and your story, you're going to tell it whether you do it in your resume, whether you do it on your website, whether you do it about your business, whether you do it generational. We're listening now to everything that's going on with systemic racism. Well, the fact is that it's a story. It didn't just happen today, it happened years ago. But if we hadn't had the John Lewis's and the Martin Luther King to tell us the story, and one of the things is that one of the things that if anybody asks me why I do what I do now, is that John Lewis wrote in Time magazine, you got to tell the story. You got to tell the story to keep on telling it so that people will know exactly what happened and why it happened. And he says that's why he kept telling his story. And his charge to us is to keep telling our stories. So I'm going to close it out by going, I'm going to do like John Lewis said, I'm not necessarily always going to get in good trouble, but I am going to keep on telling the story as long as somebody lets me.
amen. And with that being said, you are watching Lifetime Success with Jennifer Young Agency, IBA Success Magazine. Make sure you share this video, tag your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and stay connected, because I promise to always educate, promote, and empower entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations nationally. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Happy Friday and have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much again, Miss Laura Dorsey, for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. See you all later. Bye-bye.